Hello, and welcome to Cuddler Training. The Cuddler assignment is vital to our animals because it allows us to provide social enrichment through touch and time with people. This is beneficial for cats as they do not get outside enrichment like our dogs do. For our dogs, cuddling can help them understand that they do not always go outside for walks or play simply because someone enters their kennel. This teaches both species to appreciate visitors and can lead to successful adoptions. Lastly, with all there is to do at our center, our staff members simply do not have enough time to interact with every animal or see every concerning or red flag behavior or body language. So, this is where you come in. Let's get started. After you've arrived at the center, grabbed your badge from the front desk, and your supplies from the foster and volunteer lounge, you'll want to head to the adoption floor. Small animals and critters are on the left, dogs are straight ahead, and cats are on the right. Of course, in this video, we'll be covering the dog adoption floor. The rules of dog cuddling, how to read dog body language, who's appropriate to cuddle with, and more. This is a basic dog kennel. One side is always their living room side, while the other is their potty space, if needed. Since there is already a video on getting in and out of the dog kennels, which can be found in this playlist, we won't be covering that topic in this video. Up first, we'll have the rules for working with dogs. While there aren't many, they are extremely important for the welfare of our animals and for your safety. Rule number 1, whenever a kennel has a dog in it, it must be locked. This is for everyone's safety, as we may have dogs available for adoption who do not like other dogs, are uncomfortable with children, or afraid of new people. We do not want the general public to be able to open dog kennels on their own. Of course, while you are cuddling a dog, you don't need to lock yourself in the kennel. Just make sure you lock it when you leave. To unlock a kennel door, use the key on the back of your badge you signed out from the front desk when you arrived. Rule number 2, please read all signage on a dog's kennel before entering their kennel. This includes their kennel card, additional information sheet, and surrender questionnaire if they have one. These can provide additional information on the dog's likes, dislikes, quirks, and more. A surrender questionnaire is important because it provides information we might not know otherwise, like if a dog has lived with cats before, if they're afraid of thunderstorms, or, in Queen's case, that she likes to watch TV, but only if it's wrestling. Small animal questionnaires are purple, cats are yellow, and dogs are green. Unfortunately, stray animals will not have a surrender questionnaire as they were not brought in by their owner, but a good Samaritan who's helping them find their owner. There's a couple key places to look on a surrender questionnaire for useful information. The first is on the first page, about halfway down the page, where it asks, "Why are you surrendering this dog?" Sometimes the answer is simply that the owner is moving to a location where the dog cannot accompany them. Other times, however, you can come across a surrender reason that's important, like the dog being too much energy for the owner. This is vital information because energetic dogs typically need more enrichment and interaction, and this can let us know ahead of time to focus our efforts on this particular dog. Another great place to look is on the second page, pretty much everything from the top of the page to that first big line. Here, questions such as, "Is this dog good with kids?" cats, other dogs, and more are being asked. One question that's important is this dog fearful of men, women, or children? Because if you are a masculine, feminine, or childish person, the dog might be fearful of you, and that's good to know in advance. Additionally, the question, "What does this dog dislike or fear?" is another good question, as smoke makes Queen sneeze. And that's good to know if you are a smoker, or if the person looking to adopt her smokes. Rule number 3, if you have not yet attended matchmaker training, please do not let visitors in with a dog or attempt to do any form of adoption counseling. Grab a kennel attendant or a matchmaker to help them. Pro tip, if you know that a dog has a surrender questionnaire, you can give that to the potential adopter so they can read it while you go grab help. Rule number 4, watch body language. There are body language videos in the playlist for this video. Be sure to watch them and learn to read the signs that a dog might not be comfortable with you before they need to shout their discomfort louder with growls, lip curls, or air snaps. Of course, this particular dog isn't showing any red flag body language right now, but that could change if a new person enters their space. Even if a dog is familiar with you, they can still have bad days and want to be left alone. Lastly, rule number 5. Please keep in mind that puppies will receive a lot of attention from visitors and typically get adopted very quickly. They are also the most vulnerable to infectious diseases, even if vaccinated. Due to all this, we ask that you only cuddle with one kennel of puppies during your shift, and be sure to cuddle them first. This way we prevent the possible spread of disease and high frustration levels due to too much cuddling. Remember, if multiple puppies are being housed in the same kennel, they count as one kennel, so you may cuddle with all of them, as they are already sharing their germs anyway. Of course, you can cuddle with as many dogs over 5 months old as you'd like. On the topic of body language, if you do see concerning or potentially aggressive behavior or body language from any of the animals on our adoption floor, tell someone right away. Do not assume it'll get better, or that you'll get an animal in trouble or euthanized for speaking up. If you are proactive and we know about an animal who is having a hard time on the adoption floor, there are 5 options for that animal. 1. We can hang a bad day sign or a barrier on that animal's kennel, letting visitors know that this animal needs some time to be alone. 2. We can move that animal to the back of the center for some TLC and extra enrichment from our expert staff members. This will give them time to get to know this particular animal better and potentially move them back to the adoption floor if their behavior improves. 3. We can promote this animal to our fabulous foster homes to give them a break away from the center. Then they might come back when we've learned more about them, or they could get adopted directly from their foster home. 4. We can promote this animal to our wonderful list of rescue partners to get them out of our building and into a foster home with another organization, especially if that organization specializes in medical or behavioral cases. 5. That animal could be euthanized if their behavior continues to get worse and none of the other options have worked out for that animal. This is the last option, and no one wants to euthanize animals unless we have no other choice, or it has become the most humane thing that we can do for that animal. If you're worried about speaking up about concerning or potentially aggressive body language or behavior because you're worried that the animal will be euthanized, please keep in mind that if no one speaks up until that animal bites someone, then we only have 2 options. Find a rescue partner to take them, or euthanasia. Unfortunately, our hands are tied in this situation. This is why it is so much better to speak up when you see something so that we can help these animals feel better or change locations, like a rescue or foster home, before it gets worse. Now that you know the rules, you're ready to get started. On the dog kennels, there should always be a white kennel card hanging inside of what we call a kennel sleeve or a kennel jacket. Please record all in-kennel enrichment, such as cuddling, on the left-hand side of the sleeve. Out-of-kennel enrichment, such as walking and playgroups, should also be recorded on the right-hand side. If you are the first person in your role or assignment today, please erase all old dates and times from the sleeve. Write what enrichment you are providing at the top, the date underneath, and then the time in which you started underneath that. Please be sure to record your time before you enter the kennel. This not only helps you remember to actually record your time, but it also gets you in the habit of reading the kennel card beforehand so that you know all about that dog, how they entered the shelter, if they are old enough for the interaction, and if the dog has a surrender questionnaire you can read. If you look closely at Blue's kennel card, you can see that he was an owner surrender on May 26th and has a surrender questionnaire. You can see it peeking out from behind his kennel card. Pro tip: if Blue came in on May 26th and you were here on the 26th or the 27th, it might be best to skip Blue, as he might be feeling too overwhelmed. Giving dogs a day or 2 to settle in can be incredibly helpful. Moving down the kennel card to Blue's age, you will see that he's approximately 5 years old. This means that he can be cuddled or walked, since you can cuddle or walk everyone 5 months of age or older, unless they have other restrictions. Again, we only ask that you use your best judgment if a dog is new, and always remember to watch their body language to see how the dog is feeling about your interaction. Since our dogs have 2 sides to their kennel, the living room side and the potty side, we can use this to our advantage. If a dog is scared or fearful, like Karma in this picture, we can help her feel more comfortable by entering the kennel on the opposite side of where she currently is. By entering her living room side, she gets to make the choice if she wants to interact with us or not. By giving animals choices, we give them more control over their situation. It has been heavily researched in the animal welfare field that by giving animals choices, we can help their stress and frustration levels lower. So, we do our best to give them as many choices as we can. If you were to enter Karma's kennel and she doesn't approach you, that's perfectly fine. Just spend 30 to 90 seconds singing to her, talking to her, reading to her, something. Then drop a couple of treats, like you see in this picture, and move on to the next dog. Learning that new people respect their space and boundaries is a great first step towards becoming more confident overall. In this video, we'll see a dog cuddler enter Karma's kennel. Watch Karma's body language. When the volunteer is standing up, Karma seems more scared, so the volunteer squats on the ground. When the volunteer initially reaches out, Karma seems interested, but is definitely not ready for petting. After some light coaxing, Karma realizes that petting with one hand is okay, but petting with 2 hands is really scary. Note that the volunteer is always watching Karma's body language and is ebbing and flowing with her. When Karma shows too much fear in her body language, the volunteer backs off. A couple of times, though, when the volunteer backed off, Karma seemed to say, "Hey, wait a minute, I actually think I enjoyed that."
Okay.
Keep in mind that this isn't a perfect video. Karma definitely seemed overwhelmed with the entire situation. The volunteer could have entered the living room side to give Karma more distance, and more. But cuddling is never going to be perfect with or for every dog. Remember that if a dog shows you any body language you are uncomfortable with, you do not have to interact with that dog. Please also report any red flag body language. In Karma's case, she was overwhelmed on the adoption floor, but is doing fantastic in her foster home. Thank you for completing our dog cuddler training video. We are so excited to have you volunteering with us and can't wait for you to get started. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to the volunteer coordinator. We hope to see you soon.